Hey everyone, it's Sean from Crafted Elements, and in this short video I'm going to be talking about our oversized router bases for full-size routers. Now if you've been a fan of Crafted Elements for a while, or maybe a customer of ours, you probably know that we have an entire collection of trim router bases in a variety of shapes and styles for different purposes and applications to maximize the capability of your trim router. We've done the same thing now with full-size routers because there's a lot of people that obviously need a full-size router for the work they're doing, but there are some limitations to the OEM full-size router bases, which I'm going to talk about right now. So the most obvious difference between our aftermarket square router bases and an OEM one is its size. So you've got a 10 by 10 square here, whereas these OEM ones are typically 6 or 7 inch rounds. Now the advantage to this design is stability. If you've ever used a full-size router to do things like pocketing out a bowl or a tray template, you know that this limited amount of real estate can get you into trouble if you're pocketing out something and you end up going off the template because it's not big enough. Whereas this gets you a huge amount of contact surface area. It's never going to run off the side of your template, and it is obviously much thicker compared to the OEM bases. So in general, you have increased stability with this, especially when you're doing things like pocketing bowls and trays. Now the next thing is that you'll notice is there's a huge hole there. These OEM router bases do not support router bushings, you know, the Porter cable style router bushings like this little brass guy here. Whereas our router bases, including our trim router bases, will work with these Porter cable style bushings. Now, if you want these router bases with a super large hole, because maybe you're using like an 1.5 inch and 3/4 inch bit, watch the end of this video. I'm going to show you how you can actually hollow out and core out the hole here if you're using this router base with larger bits and you don't need the bushing, but more on that later. Having this capability to have a router bushing is going to allow you to do things like inlays and more precise work with your full-size router compared to this, which you can't use with. And then the next thing is just having a straight edge. Seems obvious, but a lot of OEM router bases are circular. They do not have any sort of straight edge. So if you want to use a guide or a fence or some sort of a custom jig and you want to be able to run your router in a straight line and you don't have the optional rail or bar kit for your router, you can use the straight edge on any side here. It's going to be 5 inches from your center of your bit to the edge of the router base, and you're going to be able to measure off your jig or whatever you're using to create a nice straight line as far as you want to go. Now those are really the three main advantages to upgrading to a larger base like this, and the same goes for a trim router. If you've got a small trim router, we have bigger bases for trim routers as well at craftedelements.com. But what I'm going to show you very quickly is how easy it is to take off the OEM base, put one of these guys on, and get rolling. So for this demonstration, I've got the Bosch 1617 EVSPK. Those last 4 letters simply represent the fact that it comes with a fixed base and a plunge base. Now on that topic, these obviously are not universal bases that work with any sort of router. They are specific to the type of router you are using, and of course on our website you can actually search your router and find the proper base for your router. But there's going to be some cases where these router bases, like this example, has 2 sets of hole patterns. Now the 2 sets of hole patterns is because we make our router bases compatible with the fixed base version, if there is one, as well as the plunge router version. Some of these full-size routers are only a plunge router, or only a fixed base, or they have both chassis where you can actually take the spindle or the actual router motor out and pop it in the chassis depending on what you want to use. So in the case of the Bosch 1617, it's available as a fixed base router as well as a plunge router, like this plunge router base here. And it will work on this base in both configurations, which is why there's 2 sets of holes. But whereas something like this is actually a plunge router base for a Milwaukee trim router, it is only a single hole pattern because this is the only option that would be available for a Milwaukee plunge trim router hardware accessory. So really the first thing is just to identify the type of screws that are in your router holding that OEM base plate on, and grab your appropriate screwdriver or power drill to remove those. We've got our OEM base plate off, and we can bring over our aftermarket base plate and simply line up the holes. Now you'll want to pay attention to the length of the OEM screws that came out of there. Remember that most of the OEM bases are 1/4 inch or less, so they might actually have screws that are too short. We do countersink these holes with the lasers that we manufacture these on, but in some cases these screws can be too short, and in that case you'll want to just go to your local hardware store and get some equal threaded screws that are a little bit longer depending on the router you have. But in the case of this, the OEM screws are a sufficient length to just drop in and attach. And I'm not going to screw these in tight all the way yet because we're going to want to center this first. All of these rudder bases, including an OEM rudder base, have a little bit of play. You can see here we got a little bit of shifting and stuff like that on them. Now if you're using a rudder bushing, it's really important that you get this dead center. So what I recommend is using a rudder centering pin like this. It looks like a brass golf tee. You can drop any sort of rudder bushing in there and get your centering pin through there. It's a 1/4 inch pin and this is a 1/4 inch hole bushing. And you can see that it slides in nice and freely. So that means our rudder is dead center on the base. Then we can go ahead and tighten up those screws. Now, if you're not using a rudder bushing, or rather you don't have one, then it really doesn't matter. If you're off by a few millimeters, 1, 2, 3 millimeters, either way, it's still going to work. But if you're using a rudder bushing down the road, you'll want to make sure that it's as center and even as possible, which is why you use that centering pin. And that's it. It's like a 60-second, maybe a 90-second job to switch out that router plate. And now you've got that larger, more functional plate for the router. And like I said, depending on the router model and base plate you choose, it's either going to have a single hole pattern for one type of router, or if it's a plunge option, or there's maybe multiple routers in that series that have a slightly different hole pattern, it'll have 2 hole patterns. But again, it's router specific. I could just as easily take this guy off and put it on the plunge base version that this router kit comes with. Voila, now you've got it on the plunge base. So the last thing I want to talk about in this video is if you have no need to use a router bushing with your router base, and you're not going to need it for inlays or anything like that in the future, but you need to get a big bit in here and you want the bit to be able to go up and through that router base, then you can actually drill this hole out. So these Porter cable router bushings, I believe, are 1 3/16. So you can actually get like a 1 1/4 inch router bit through there if the bushing's off, no problem. But if you've got like a 1 3/8, 1.5 or larger router bit, maybe like a big pocketing bit or a bowl bit, you're obviously not going to be able to use it with this plate and be able to move it up and down through the base. So in that case, you can actually drill this hole out. And there's a real quick trick for doing that. If you've got a hole saw, it's very easy. I'm going to show you that now. So it's pretty simple. We're going to get a couple of layers of scrap plywood. In this case, I've got some MDF. We're going to put it down on our workbench and secure it. Of course, you could just use your workbench for this if you don't care about holes in your workbench, but I care about holes in this workbench, so I'm not going to do that. And then we've got our base plate. And we've got a hole saw that is the sufficient size of the hole we want to drill out to. So you want to have a reasonable size hole saw, just enough to be able to fit your bit that you're going to be using, the maximum size bit that you're going to use through that hole. So I'm going to go ahead and mark and trace where the hole is here. And then I'm just going to find center approximately. I could create a bunch of lines and kind of end up with a good approximation of center. I don't really care that much. If it's off by a few millimeters, it doesn't matter. Again, because we're not going to be putting a router bushing back on here. So the real point is that the bit is still going to be centered to the router and the base, regardless of where this hole is. Now I've got that repositioned. I know approximately where the center is here. I'm going to go and grab some screws to screw this into that plywood. When you do this, you're going to want to be gentle with the screws because you don't want to over tighten them. If you over tighten them, you can end up cracking the acrylic, which is obviously the thing you do not want to do. So just be gentle and go slow when it comes to actually tightening these things down. Now this is a slow and steady wins the race type of scenario. You don't want to just go at this thing. You want to go nice and gradual to avoid slipping on the acrylic and to avoid cracking the acrylic. And there you go, you've got your router base with a much larger hole. Now you'll notice it's kind of scored and a little bit matte. If you're really particular and you want to clean that up, just get a propane torch and give it a quick once over and it'll actually melt all that debris away. Just don't spend too much time with a torch, because if you heat up the acrylic too much, it'll actually warp and bend. Just enough to kind of melt any of that rough edge away, and now you've got a much larger hole. Well, that pretty much concludes our video on these large router bases. I hope you can see the obvious advantage to upgrading your full-size router with one of them. If you want to get your own for your full-size router, or a plunge mount for a trim router, or for a trim router, we have a ton of router bases, jigs, and accessories over at craftelements.com. Thanks for watching and happy making.